Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. Good afternoon. It's so good to see everyone, even if it's through the lens of Zoom. So it's very, very nice to see everyone. There are many people watching this live event today, but I would be remiss not to mention a few special guests. First of all, I'd like to introduce Pastor Willard Avery from the New Zion Baptist Church. We have Louisville Kitchen, who's a former teacher at SAC. We have George Montoya, a former custodian at SAC. Vesta Edmond is out there, a longtime neighbor and educational advocate. Dr. Johnny Walker, our very own Dr. Johnny Walker, our athletic director for APS. Mr. James Maynis, he was the principal at SAC for 12 years, and I believe his children, Darren and Laura, are watching as well. Greg Taylor is out there, a legacy family of SAC. Mary Gardner, neighbor and legacy family. Mr. Wilson Holland, a SAC student, a good friend of mine, the athletic director at the at Los Lunas Public Schools. Thank you so much for being here today with us, Wilson. Also, Deputy Superintendent of Teaching and Learning, Miss Kara Malone is here. Deputy Superintendent of Operations, Ms. Colleen Tagle, the Chief of Capital Outlay and Facilities, Justin Burks. The Alamogordo Board of Education is here today. President Angie Cadwalader, Vice President Ryan Sherwood, Secretary Carol Tellite, Member Judy Raven is on site, and Member Pastor Anthony Torres is here as well. I know that there are a lot of other people out there, and again, we thank you so much for taking time today to celebrate the life of Sacramento Elementary School. Today marks the end of one chapter and the beginning of another. Sacramento Elementary School has served as the hub of this neighborhood for generations. Tens of thousands of children have walked the halls of this school. Countless hours of teaching and learning, PTA meetings, library time, and community events transpired in this beloved school. Millions of meals were prepared in the cafeteria with tender, loving care. Children danced the auditorium, played in the schoolyard, all in the hopes of being a tiger and ultimately live the American dream. Sacramento Elementary is a unique, special school. It was built in 1956 at the height of the Cold War. Back then, architects were mindful of nuclear blasts. Therefore, massive metal shades were built to protect students and staff from the immense light if a blast did occur. And you probably can see that on the school today. Progress was evident in Alamogordo as many neighborhood schools were being built during the Rocket City era. Sacramento was one of them. But before the Rocket City era and before Sacramento Elementary School, Black students went to Delaware School, also known as Corinth. Hispanic students went to Maryland Street School, located on 6th Street and Maryland Avenue, later known as the Dudley School. But in 1949, a great Alamogordian by the name of Bobby Joe Fritz broke the racial barrier and became the first African American to attend the Alamogordo Public Schools. Superintendent at the time, Barney Caton, was a tremendous advocate of desegregation, and the Alamogordo Board of Education president, George Abbott, was quoted as saying it was the right thing to do. Alamogordo was way ahead of the times, as the topic of segregation didn't make it to the Supreme Court in the case of Brown versus the Board of Education until 1954. The end of segregation in Alamogordo had begun, and Sacramento Elementary was designed and built a few years later. Alamogordo and Sacramento Elementary School played a significant role in leading our country to desegregate and create equitable opportunities that were free and appropriate for all students, regardless of the color of their skin. Knowing that this school played an important role in Alamogordo history and produced so many outstanding citizens should all bolster us with pride. Today, we bring this monumental building down, but we will memorialize it for generations to come. As superintendent of the Alamogordo Public Schools, it is my great pleasure to announce that the Alamogordo Board of Education supports a revitalization effort to sustain this hallowed piece of ground. We are making every effort possible to preserve the historic cottonwoods in the front. We're planning to update the children's playground and update the basketball courts. We look forward in working with City Commissioner Sharon Mcdonald to create memorials of the days gone by and the tremendous people who have both served and learned in this historic building. Our legacy will live as we continue to celebrate our diversity in our community. Thank you all so much for coming today. And at this time, I'd like to introduce our very own City Commissioner, Sharon Mcdonald. Sharon?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Sacramento site. We have a number of people here that are going to speak, but I would like to say that I attended school here and had a wonderful time under the principal of Jerry Watkins. We did have one of the principals before that, and that was L.H. Rose. And I just wanted to mention that because he was a part of the history here when the school opened up in 1956. We have a ton of memories on this particular lot behind us where we played baseball most of the day. So some of the memories that we have will never go away. And the number of people that touched our lives, and I'm sure we touched theirs too, will live on. But today I am going to introduce a couple of people who will talk about their role here in the community. And the first person to speak is going to be our pastor, Willard Avery, and he is going to talk about himself as a transplant to the Alamogordo area and in this community, and also with children that were raised here and attended Sacramento school.
Hello, I'm Willard Avery, pastor of the New Zion Baptist Church, and I relocated here in 1971, and I relocated in 1972. Well, I always remember the neighborhood children walking to school. The Kings, the Conleys, the Lees, Patterson, you name it, they walked here. And I always remember them talking about their teachers and their school. And this school brings back a lot of fond memories because several years later, my eldest child, Serena, she began school here. And then our son, Will, and then our baby girl, Loretta. So all three of them went here to Sacramento. And all of them had fond memories. They talked about their teachers, Miss Clark, Miss White, so Miss Kitchen. And I always think about how the Bible tells us to suffer little children to come unto me and to be them not for such as the kingdom of God. I thank God for Sacramento because from my experience, Sacramento poured herself into our children. And now when I think about where they are and what they're doing, I can see that all of that mentoring paid off. So I thank God for it, and I believe that it is fitting that we have a lasting legacy of what Sacramento has done for this community. All of the children that grew up here, all of the children that moved away, carried part of Alamogordo and Sacramento with them. Thank you, and God bless you.
Next, we will have Louisville Kitchen, who is the former teacher of Sacramento School, and she is going to have remarks also at this time.
Greetings to each one of you and to all of the former Sacramento School students. I am Louisville Kitchen. I arrived in Alamogordo in 1959, July the 5th. And remember the day. I lived on 3rd Street is right around the corner, right up the street from here. And I thank God as I watch the children of this area as they commuted to school by walking. Many of them would be fussing, arguing, complaining, but happy and excited about going to school. I live right around about 3 doors from school, and I love roses. And every year that I planted to put a rose bush out, the teachers at Sacramento School were the one who received the first bud of rose from my rose bush. I always reminded myself to watch for that child that was taking my rose to school because I wanted that first bud. I never was able to see it except running in the classroom. So the teachers in later years, I became one of the teachers here. We had some of the greatest students, some of the greatest parents who put into their children the Hollands, the Averys, the Hollywood, Hollands. Children were some of my students. The Roberts, the Turners. I can remember them and their excitement about their education. And today, as I look back in memory and see the accomplishment of many of those children, some are teachers, some are standing here as a commissioner, some are all president companies. And my heart raced with joy and with peace, knowing that they have accomplished. I was a part of their accomplishment. The greatest accomplishment and achievement a parents can have is that of the accomplishment of their child. To see that child succeed. And the greatest reward for a teacher is see a child that she has told to stay after school and do a homework assignment. And that child later on, even in his anger, said, I don't like you. But you look back over that child's life and see the accomplishment that he or she has achieved. It gives joy, it gives satisfaction, and it gives peace to a teacher to say, I was a part of that. So today, as we see the conclusion of Sacramento School, we leave it with fond memories and great joy, knowing that this school place has been a sanctuary for education for our children's future, and those who have accomplished. And we applaud the parents, we applaud the principals, Mr. Watkins, and all of those that followed him that I knew for the job well done. We can applaud ourselves today as parents for what you have contributed to this community and to the children of the Alamogordo District and to all of the accomplishment from the Sacramento school area. And we said, thank you, Lord, for what you have allowed us to be a part of. To see this building be demolished, it takes with it fond memories of what it achieved in this area and this time of our life. Thank you.
Okay, so Dr. Johnny Walker, are you on the line?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Johnny Walker's here.
Johnny Walker, you got a few words you'd like to say, Dr. Walker?
I do. I do. Um, Sacramento has served as a beacon of hope, a place of inspiration, and it's housed future NFL stars, doctors, lawyers, nurses, successful business owners, commissioners, teachers, administrators. It also inspired a book and a movie. It filmed on that location called Elementary Prayers. Sacramento is It's brought pride not only to an underserved demographic, but it instilled pride in our city. The memories of Sacramento will live on in its accomplishments and the people that attended that school. The future of the property is still up in the air, and we hope that it will turn into something more. It will rise out of the ashes like a phoenix. But the things that we do know and the things that we do understand about Sacramento is that it's a place of refuge. It's been a place of inspiration, a place of motivation. And I know that in its entirety and in its going down right now, that playground will still exist. That basketball court will be there. It will continue to serve a neighborhood. It will still continue to serve our community. And going forward, we know that that community and the people that were there were appreciative. They are appreciated. And this is not the last we've heard about this property. So I'm excited to know that Sacramento has served such a great place in the hearts of our community, in the hearts of our people. And to know that it is a great place and it was a great place of learning. And from this day on, we celebrate the fact of its accomplishments. And we celebrate the fact that as we move on, it will move into something better. It will move into something stronger, and that we were all better for knowing that Sacramento was a part of our lives. So I thank y'all for allowing me to say anything today about this place, but I can speak volumes about what it was and what it did, not only for me, but for our community. Thank you, Superintendent Barry.
Great. Thank you, Dr. Walker. We appreciate those words. Do we have anybody else on the line that would like to make a statement? Are there any more celebrations? Okay. So I believe it is time to end the chapter and begin a new one. Thank you all so much for coming today. What we have done is we have organized a pallet of memorabilia that is located on site. They are actually some bricks that you can take home with you and put it on your mantle. And Sacramento Elementary School will always be in your hearts. So I just appreciate everybody taking the time to be present today, and truly am excited about the next chapter. And we will never forget. That is a promise from me as the superintendent, as well as our Board of Education. Sacramento has played a very vital role in our community and our country. And for that, we will always be eternally grateful. And now we move on to the next chapter.
This is Jim Maynis. Todd is my son, and Darren Maynis that you have visited with over the phone a few times about a brick. I'd just like to say that I took my first administrative position at Sacramento School in 1970, and I stayed there for 12 years. I was able to see my first graders walk across the stage to get their degree, their diploma. And I had a few trepidations about the assignment, being a rookie principal, but I must say it was the best assignment that I could have ever walked into. And fond memories. Just want to do a shout out to Howard Jackson and Mr. Holland, and I appreciate so much your giving us this opportunity. So thank you.
The honor is all ours, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Okay, I believe it's time. City Commissioner, we look forward to the next chapter, and we'll be working hand in hand through this project. So thank you for your support, and thank you for being a part of our next chapter, the next era. Thank you, everybody, for speaking today. Chief Justin Burks, can we zoom in on the demo?